So we didn't just look at the signpost and go, wow, cool signpost, and be on our way. No, we went down onto the surface of planet Crumble.
Hello. This is the 262nd Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2226, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. And we're lost in space.
Yes, we are.
Just regular listeners will know that this might have been the case, and this is still the case.
Yep. It's pretty different for new listeners. This is not how our show has been for the past many years, but this is what it is now.
Yes, we won a space tour in a contest. It was just supposed to last 2 weeks, but we got lost and we're still lost.
Yep, exactly. It's 3 weeks now we've been out here, so a whole extra week.
Yes, a whole extra week, yeah. A whole extra week to explore places that nobody has ever been to, as far as we know.
Yeah, I mean, extrally so, yeah. Like the original tour, they weren't taking so many chances, you know. First couple of weeks we were going to places that they knew were safe, knew what was going on.
And now we're at places where nobody knows what's going on.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so we're learning all kinds of new things about the 23rd century, especially the part that's taking place in space. But we didn't want to stop doing our podcast. Normally we would have maybe a new gadget or a new development back on Earth to talk about. But there's stuff happening in space, so why not talk about this?
Indeed.
And we can still send things back in time. So
exactly, it's working out well for us.
We did actually visit a nice planet yesterday that we thought we were going to talk about, but before we get there...
and we will get there, but before that...
There's actually news.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Just a few hours ago, or just basically super brand new news, you know, for you too. I mean, I told you already, but still, we can pretend it's new to you. Either way, I am now a member of the Passenger Council.
Whoa. Wow, that's new.
It's brand new. We just found it today, a few hours ago, like I say. So, and I am one of the 15 members.
Yeah. Cool. Passenger Council. We didn't have that when we started off.
Correct. Didn't seem a need for one. Now that we were lost in space, the captain said, you know what? You passengers, you should have a council representing you.
And there's 1,500 passengers in total?
Exactly, so 1 per 100. So one representative, one member of the council for each 100 passengers.
Cool. So that's there's a pretty small chance, but you got in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it like a random or?
I don't know. All I know is I got a ship mail from the captain asking if I would, or inviting me, to join the council.
Okay, and they didn't specify why?
No.
Okay.
Well, didn't specify in the ship mail, but I suspect it's because of our podcast.
Oh.
You know, we're pretty famous 200 years ago, so I think that might be why.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, okay, cool. But I guess you didn't have any session or...
Not yet, no. Okay. Just got the confirmation that I'm on there, and I presume we'll have our first meeting soon.
Do you know how this council stuff works?
I don't, and I was going to lean on you for that kind of stuff. You having been a member of a council before?
Yeah.
Currently, I guess you're on holiday at the moment. But either way, you know that stuff much better than I do.
I guess I am still in the Frankfurt City Council.
Exactly.
Just not in Frankfurt.
Not right now.
I wonder how they're doing.
I guess your duties will have been delegated to other people.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I needed to cut some ribbon somewhere actually last week, now that I think about it. They'll have
found someone else, hopefully.
Or they'll have kept it. They will
waiting for you to get back.
They will not open that shuttle station until I get back.
Could be. So I probably won't be opening any shuttle stations, but after the first meeting, I'll come talk to you about it. See what's going on.
It's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of discussing, making compromises.
Okay, I was going to say I do enjoy talking, so that part should work out.
Workshopping, you'll be workshopping things. Okay, yeah, cool. And then maybe next week either we'll be back on Earth, and if not, then you'll maybe have something to say.
Yeah, okay. Indeed. If we get back to Earth before the next episode, this council won't be so long-lived. Yeah.
No, exactly. We'll be the shortest council ever. So you don't know anybody else who's in it either, then? Yeah.
There was no group ship mail. You know, I couldn't see the names of the other people, so not yet. I'll find out after the next meeting.
Okay, cool.
Well, the next meeting, the first meeting.
Yeah. Okay, then I would say we will move over to the planet that we visited today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think just to point out, like some listeners might ask, why aren't we not just going straight home?
Right. Why are we still lost?
Exactly. Well, I mean, we don't know where we are, so we don't know where we're going.
Exactly.
We could just go somewhere in a straight line, but we're doing a bit of solar system hopping because with the sunlight, I guess, from each star, we can recharge our batteries.
Mm-hmm. Right, the ship's batteries. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we can basically see the stars. So we're basically figuring out which one is the closest, and then we go there. And this way, we're kind of making our way back.
Yeah. Well, making our way somewhere.
Yes.
The real issue is we don't know where. We know we want to go to Earth. Because we don't know where we are, we don't know where Earth is relative to us.
True, actually. We're making our way back. We may just going in the opposite direction.
That's still to be determined.
So far, I haven't recognized any of the star systems.
Nope, likewise, and more importantly than us recognizing, no one on board is recognized.
Yes.
Crew or other passengers alike.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the moment that I wake up in the morning, look out of our window, and I suddenly see Orion or something. And then it's like, hey guys, did you see that?
Then we'll be back.
I guess.
I mean, the way, constellations work, like the ones you know from Earth, is because you're on Earth. Looking up at the sky, it doesn't look like that from anywhere else.
Yeah.
Or, in orbit of Earth, or very close to Earth, it looks like that. But outside our solar system, it's not going to look like that at all. So.
I can just imagine we're going to see Orion, we're going to go like, oh yeah, and then we need to go straight in that direction, and then later realizing, oh, we saw him from behind.
Yeah, or it's some other, it looks just like Orion, but for some other place.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's totally not made up of the same stars.
Oh yeah, that might just happen. Everybody going like, isn't that from a different dimension?
Right, that thing where people spot faces and things, yeah. And so I don't know if people spot constellations, but right now we're really looking for constellations. So maybe now people start spotting constellations.
I mean, you need to have a bit of a fantasy anyway to recognize these constellations. Yeah. That's a fish, and that's a snake, and that's a dragon, and that's a bullfighter or whatever. Like that doesn't look anything like it, but so you need to already have a bit of a fantasy to be able to see them.
Or how about at some point we come across constellations that really do look like those things, like way more detail, basically enough stars making up the points that it's really like a line drawing.
Oh wow, so you're going to see the real lion.
Yeah, and we'll know it's not the one that we saw on Earth, but it's like, maybe this is better.
Yeah, and we come back on Earth and we want to rebrand what we've been calling lion so far. Let's now just call it a leopard. Okay, yeah, that might just happen.
Yeah, so that's why you wanted our listeners to know. That's why we're not heading back in a straight line, or we're not heading in a straight line anywhere. Kind of working our way around, trying to get some bearings.
I mean, the nice side effect is that because of that, we do get to see the odd planet.
Indeed. We're not all just having to sit aboard a ship, flying through space, twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah. And then because we basically hang around in like a solar system for a day or two to recharge, and then we continue. I mean, there's planets flying around. We don't have to be super close to the star, so we can just be somewhere in the solar system where it's kind of nice. We get to see planets. And we did get to see Planet Crumble.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we didn't name it Planet Crumble.
No.
Because, it's often when folk get to a place where they've never been before, they'll come up with names for it. But in this case, there was a huge signpost in orbit.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for the like, from an Earth perspective or from a solar system perspective, a lot of the planets that you see, they already have numbers. And you get clues closer, they get a nice name. It's like this was something, and now you give it a nice name based on how it is. Now, they don't even have numbers. Or maybe they do, we just don't know that we're on them.
Yeah, we don't have a way of referencing.
Exactly, so we get to name planets by scratch. Just not this one.
Not this one. This one, at least before we got here, someone else put a signpost up, Planet Crumble.
Maybe the crew did that.
Oh, for our benefit.
I'm just thinking of this right now.
Sure.
But they were, I mean,
they seemed as surprised as we were.
They did, yeah. So
we went. We didn't just look at the signpost and go, "Wow, cool signpost," and be on our way. No, we went down onto the surface of Planet Crumble. And so you, myself, not all 1,500 crew passengers. I mean, that would have been a lot of people, but a bunch of us.
Yeah, and anybody who wanted.
Basically,
there's quite a few passengers that don't want to leave the ship anymore.
Some folk are a bit more cautious, want to just get home. But some are like us, we're like, hey, a whole new planet, let's go check it out.
We're not so cautious.
What could go wrong?
Yes, exactly. What could go wrong?
We've got cyborg chips, we'll be fine.
So what was so special about Planet Crumble?
Mm-hmm. So, first of all, a whole new planet?
Yes.
That's pretty special.
That's
But you
special.
mean, I mean, I don't have so much reference points, I've not been to so many different planets.
True.
But this one in particular was pretty unexpected to me, to you, to everyone else, in the sense that, we get out of the little shuttle pods, step onto the surface, and after a moment, everyone realised, hey, we're sinking very slowly. Like, no panic to it, but sinking slow. So, you start walking around, okay, cool. As long as I keep walking, I don't sink.
Yeah.
But as long as you stand or sit, or, stay still in any one spot, the ground slowly goes down.
It is. I think maybe you can compare it slightly with like a very slow trampoline, except that it stays down wherever you touch it. Mm-hmm. So you bounce.
Right, it doesn't spring back up.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the trampoline, it's faster.
Yeah, it's much faster. That's maybe not
faster.
such a good example.
Yeah.
I've never actually stood in quicksand, so I'm not sure how relevant that is. But like quicksand, but it doesn't crumble apart into sand. Like it's not like a crumbly or Planet Crumble. Yeah. Somehow there's an elasticity, like a skin to it.
Yeah.
So it's like you're sinking, but it's not crumbling apart. You're not like your foot isn't going under the ground as such.
Yeah.
It's just depressing.
Exactly. The ground goes down with your foot.
Yeah. So Planet Crumble, whoever named it, I don't know why they called it that.
Yeah, it doesn't actually crumble, right?
It's more, like soft. Maybe it was all crumbly. And at some point, someone covered it in this, like I mentioned, an elastic skin to stop it crumbling. That's too much speculation.
But I think you're right. Like I think the name is not so great. Maybe. Do you know anybody in the passenger council? Maybe we can rename it.
I think I've just joined that. I'll get back to you after the next meeting.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Let me note that down so I don't forget to mention it. Yeah.
Cool. But it was still an interesting experience, right? Because you end up walking slowly. Yeah. But not really standing still, because if you stand still, you keep on.
And some people did want to find out, how low can we go? Which I was a little bit more cautious. I say I'm not so cautious, but I was a little bit cautious about that, because what if it kept going down to the core of the planet?
Yeah.
Seems like a bad idea. But nope, after 5 meters, it stopped sinking.
Yeah.
Feels like rock under there.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
Solid, but like really, really hard. You can't.
True.
It feels like rock. And
it's also like at the moment we got there, the planet wasn't smooth, so it was already and things higher and lower than
exactly like mountain ranges and valleys. And
I guess from meteorites or whatever crashing on the planet and already changing the surface. And if you look at it from further, you could see that when
when there's a mountain on one side of the planet, there was a valley on the opposite side.
Exactly.
I mean, those are the kinds of things you can see from space.
Yeah.
But looking closer, there was similar, like even a small, 1 meter pile of whatever this stuff is on one side, there would be a 1 meter dip on the other.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like it evens out somewhere on the planet. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I've found it a little bit sad because it all had this pink reddish color, and from afar it looked like an awesome place to have a picnic in.
Right, indeed.
So we brought our stuff.
Exactly.
And
but you couldn't sit down.
No, you couldn't.
You could if you didn't mind sinking 5 meters. I mean, 5 meters, it's not insurmountable, but it's not so convenient when you want to get out of that spot.
Yeah, exactly. So you sit down on a blanket and you just basically go down. So you have to stay moving.
Yeah. So it's good for walking and talking.
Yeah.
Walking and eating isn't so nice, but you can do it.
Yeah, true. Actually, I mean the golf worked better, slightly better.
Yeah. I mean, yes, because you're moving around. You're not usually you stand still to hit the ball with the club, but then you move on. But of course, I don't play golf so much, so I don't know the vocabulary. Whatever it's called, the green, but this isn't green, the pink. Either way, the ground where the ball goes would always be different for the next people, because the people walking over it would reshape it a little bit.
Yeah, it was more of an individual sport as opposed to everybody having the exact same.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, the holes were in the same spots, relative, but
I mean, they did get a little deeper every time because
right, when the ball went in.
The ball gets in, exactly. On the other hand,
this golf course wasn't here already. Yeah, like people set it up, and then just as we were playing it, we realized that
it was changing shape all the time. And also, if you hit the ball and it rolls towards the hole and it stops right before that,
then but then the ball sits there for a little bit, sits there sinking, plop, and then it plops in.
It plops in. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah. So those who were like picnicking didn't work out. The golf was actually particularly fun, and it was good that the ships hovered. That brought us there because if they had needed to land, then I guess that would have also been a bit.
Right, they would have also sunk down. Although they could have flown off again, so it wouldn't have been so bad maybe.
But I mean, it kind of depends, of course. Like if it sinks down exactly where the legs are.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but in the end, yeah, okay, would have worked out probably. Yeah.
So you, myself, the other passengers who were down there, and some of the crew. This is even a precursor. So this kind of happened spontaneously. Mm-hmm. This wasn't part of the council, which was only just formed after all. But we now have, for the people on the ship who want to contribute, a place where we're putting all this information that we're finding out.
True.
We're not just sending it back in time to you, our dear listeners, 200 years in the past, Us here in the present, we're actually sharing this information with each other.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, yeah. So we're making a slight contribution to science.
Yeah. At the very least, shared knowledge.
Exactly, and if we ever get back, then we've mapped quite a pretty cool part of the galaxy by then, I hope, I guess. I don't know.
At least the places we visited.
Yeah. And I think this system that they came up with to map things down was pretty cool. Everybody got these tiny yellow pieces of paper that stick to something.
Like you can stick them to your forehead. You can stick them to the back of your head. It doesn't work so well there because of the hair, but
the back of your shirt.
Yep. Yeah. Right. On your chest, if you like. You can write. So to the point, they're pieces of paper, so you can write stuff on them.
Yes.
And then stick them places.
Yeah, exactly. We all got this really cool old-fashioned pen, and you basically could put the post-it on the back of the person next to you. For example, I write something down. For example, planet really good for golf.
Yeah.
And then when we all got back to the ship, we all got to this big
a wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a regular wall, but now it's a designated area to take these sticky pieces of paper, put them on the wall.
Yes, it was pretty cool. So after we got back, I think it was started last week as well, so there wasn't so much. But everybody who was on the trip and wrote something down, we all put it on the big wall. Mm-hmm. Pretty fancy.
Yeah. Maybe some point later, some will digitize that or do something with it, but for right now, it just looks really cool.
Yeah.
When you want to find out about that planet, just go look at the wall.
All the science is in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to be in the solar system maybe for 1 or 2 more days, so maybe we get to see some of the other planets around here.
Maybe, yeah. I really appreciate that the captain, that the crew, that they're adventurous,
Yeah.
You could imagine a thing like this where they're like really worried about passengers getting hurt. Hey, everyone, just stay aboard. That would have been super boring for us, super boring for our listeners. So I'm glad it's, we're free range.
If we can make it possible, I'm going to try to be on every trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we got some listener emails.
We did, yeah.
Quite a few, actually. So that was quite nice. It keeps us entertained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and gives us even more things to talk about for our podcast.
True. We picked 2, right?
Yeah, 2.
I summarized them because they were both quite long. You want to do the first one?
Sure, yeah, I'll read the first one here. So Dutch Darwin sent us an email, a nice one, asking, so how are we coping with the lack of sunlight and daylight? Which is the same thing, sunlight, daylight.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on where you are in space.
Yeah. I mean, because on the ship itself, of course, we have lights. It's not like we're walking around in darkness all the time. So natural light, I guess, is what Dutch was getting at. Mm-hmm. So we were just talking about being on that planet. Totally actual sunlight there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which is a nice added benefit of having to do this star system hopping. Mm-hmm. We do get sunlight. Because we have to be close to the sun to charge.
Right. And exactly because you could imagine, our listeners can perhaps imagine, some sunlight, some stars, maybe the light they give off would be harmful for us, handily, to recharge, the the batteries of the ship. It needs to be the kind of light that doesn't hurt people.
And
works in our favour.
And they keep up the slowly rotation of the ship.
Right.
So whenever we're stationary near a star to recharge, we slowly rotate. So we still have this day and night rhythm. Mm-hmm. It's just not the same for everybody on the ship. Because if you have your rooms on the other side, your mornings and afternoons and evenings are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, that's when we're near enough a star. Yep. When we're travelling between the stars, okay, then there aren't those. Then we just use the lights.
Yeah. We switch on the light.
Yeah.
So Dutch Darwin, thank you for the question. Mm-hmm. I can do the other email. Yeah. So this was from Elisabeth. She thankfully clarified the thing we mentioned about the narrow rooms.
Right, we were thinking that people 200 years ago really liked their small, narrow rooms. Yeah.
After we saw the International Space Station where everything is super small. It's really old by now. But then we guessed in the 21st century people just liked small rooms. Mm-hmm. It's not actually the case. They don't particularly like narrow rooms. She was saying space stations were a bit of an exception.
Okay.
And cheap hotels were also a bit of an exception. They also had small rooms.
Okay.
And living quarters in city centers.
But there were a lot of cities back then, no?
Yeah, but she was explaining, the email was pretty long, where in the city centers living was quite expensive. So people could just only afford small rooms.
Okay.
And houses that were slightly bigger, then they put more rooms in there. So then they have small rooms again.
I see.
Yeah, but these were all exceptions.
They were all exceptions, and for the most part, as I understood it from what Elisabeth wrote, for the most part, rooms were ginormous.
Yes, big rooms.
Yeah.
21st century big rooms.
Yep. Like rooms like 3 times the height of a person on average.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they could roller skate in them, and so she was saying.
Cool. So thank you, Elisabeth, for setting us straight on that.
Yeah. Okay, so how did they email us?
Dutch and Elisabeth, they both wrote to us. They sent an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com. And that's what we'd like our listeners to do now as well, especially if they have questions for us about Planet Crumble or whatever else we've got going on, or clarifications, corrections. And most importantly, we would like them to put the episode number 262 into the subject line, so that we know they're responding to this episode, and that way we know this episode successfully went back in time, which is pretty important because we're super far away from Earth.
Yeah.
But it's working so far.
Yeah, pretty impressive. All right. And for now, thanks for listening, and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.